Okay, everyone, this is the view in the shed. We've gotten all the old planks out of here that were eat up with carpenter ants. We've thoroughly fumigated everything in here, and I've seen no live ants as of this video. Seen a couple of spiders, but no ants. So that's the great thing, except dead ones. Might hear some background noise. We are having some trees cut down today, so that's always a good thing. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. What I wanted to talk about in here, you know, we got the balsters and the spindles out of here, and that was a major thing. Look at this down here. What is this, you might ask? It's one of the columns off the front porch. And you might say, Laura, you know there is no way you can salvage any piece of that. That thing is squished flat. And again, guys, sorry about the background noise. It's just the way it's going to be today. But let me show you the ones I've already pulled out of here, and we'll talk a little bit about how these guys are constructed. These are the slats that make up the smaller columns that go around the front porch. Originally about 12 of them. As of pulling all of these out, I've accounted for about 9 to 10. We've got to look at these and see how many they put back together. As you can see, all held together by little pegs. Boy, are they dirty. There's the little pegs. Look at all that beautiful, beautiful old wood. It just needs the touch of the master's hand. The master being myself and my mother and our sander. And a little bit of Abatron. And we're gonna see if we can put these back together. It's a challenge I'm putting before myself right now. Maybe we can look back on this in a year, maybe 2 years, maybe more, who knows? And see if we were able to reassemble these. They're in great condition overall. Got a good feeling about them. Every once in a while too, we find remnants of the people that lived here. Miss Askew and her mother ran a little floral business out of what we call the shed or the carriage house. These are some of their little flower pots left behind from many, many moons ago. I think they ran the little shop maybe in the 60s and 70s. Her mother's name was also Georgia, so Big Georgia and Little Georgia, I guess. Also this old curtain rod. Found it under a pile of rubble. I think it was kind of cool. I'd like to find somewhere to put it back in the house. Made it through a lot of heck out here in the shed over the last couple of decades. Yeah, just little remnants from those ladies who came before us. I certainly hope they're happy that I'm cleaning back up their floral shop. So here's the mostly cleaned out shed. I got all the columns in. Boy, was that exhausting. Good news is, you know, just looking at them, looks like they'll be repairable. Even the squished one that was down here, it really wasn't squished, it was just collapsed. Look at the big beams that were on the inside of them. It's pretty exciting. Now we just have to get rid of the ruined concrete, get everything swept out, and then we can start an assessment of where to go next with the poor old shed. Not gonna let it go though. We're gonna do everything we can to save it. But there's what's left of all that junk. So some of it wasn't junk, but looked like junk because you couldn't tell what any of it was for all the rubble. All right, let's go look at the yard. So we've had some more nasty trees and debris knocked down. You can see right through here. Rotten magnolia is gone. No longer threatening to fall into the power line. Cleaned up all down through here. You can now see this side of the shed, so that's exciting. That hasn't seen the light of day in a month of Sundays for sure. And again, guys, we're gonna have to get someone out here to mulch and level this off. But getting the trees out of the way is the biggest deal. And I think we're down to maybe just about 4 or 5 little ones that I absolutely need to get down because they're dead. But all the major ones are gone, so we can kind of back off from worrying about trees falling into the house. But got some more of these over here. Overall, really happy. Got that big limb out of the large oak in the front. And I'm gonna leave this tree alone. This tree is good enough to stay. At least we have one of our probably 120-year-old trees still here. Gonna keep it for as long as we can for sure. Next deal will be excavating the camellias, and we'll probably do some of that ourselves. You can't get these camellias to grow like this now, or at least I can't. Any new camellias I buy die, so we want to keep these around considering they're probably about 80 or 90 years old. Not hybridized, they're true heritage plants. Want to keep them around. And here is the view from the front. Gradually emerging. And you can see more of the house from the road now without that big limb hanging in front of it, so that's good. Here's the old tub we pulled out of the shed. Man, is it dirty. It's pretty rusty on the underneath. However, the porcelain on the inside of it looks really, really good if you can get past the filth. Just a little bit of rust there along the drain. Still has its old hardware in place, too bad. Someone broke some of the knobs off of it. Probably want to get modern hardware for this anyway. Now, the reason I'm bringing up the old tub, I don't usually like to repeat gossip and scary stories about my house because there certainly is a lot of them rolling around out there. Legend has it someone died in this. I'm not going to say who, but there is an old legend that I've heard from like 2 different sources now. Someone died in this bathtub. Do I believe it? Probably not, given the amount of crazy stories and I don't know, ghost stories that people tell about this place. I don't know, it just gives me kind of a creepy little vibe. I like it though. It's a nice long one. Has a date stamp of November of 1912 on it. So this is an old one. Most of the other stuff in here has like a 1923 stamp on it. So we're definitely looking at an original bathtub from the house. And whether it's haunted or not, still pretty cool. Can't wait to get this guy sandblasted up and hopefully put a lot more positive vibes into it. Hello everyone, this is Laura coming to you on Monday evening from the Gleaton-Askew house, and boy, am I tired. We've done a lot of stuff over the last couple of days. We scraped all the plaster, or most of the plaster, in the front room, and let me tell you what, it was plaster purgatory, okay? Our plaster is not quite dead, but it sort of needs a lot of prayers. Its soul is still alive, but it needs a lot of prayer at this point. So what we're doing is just getting it ready to put a plaster veneer coat on, and we're gonna see how that goes. I've gotten a lot of good advice on how to do that, and you'll just have to wait around to see if we're able to accomplish that. The other thing we did, we got a lot of trees removed, or a lot of trees, but we got the rest of the trees away from the house that would be a danger to the house. So that's really good. And I also got the remainder of the stuff cleared from the shed, including all of those pieces to the original 12 columns that went around the house. I think I've accounted for maybe 10 columns. So if we're able to put those back together, that will be a real lifesaver for us. Again, this is projects on down the line, but we have to make sure we preserve these materials now, or, you know, the elements have certainly taken their toll on them over the last, couple of decades that they've been out in that shed. So we're gonna do our best, and I have a lot of faith that we'll succeed. It's just gonna be a long process, but the old shed is clear, so that's fantastic. And I'm coming to you from the upstairs. You can see the famous wallpaper room behind me. Yes, I do kind of like this look. No, we're not gonna be able to save the wallpaper. Just a little change of scenery. Starting to think about some of these upstairs rooms, what we want them to look like. Again, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We are easing up in our numbers, but we do need to get to 1,000 so we can get some more trajectory on the channel. And as always, we appreciate your support for this grand old house. I said it's gathering itself back together. That's what I like to see, all of these things gathering themselves again. So that's kind of a wonderful thought that I want you to leave you guys with. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you again next week for some more adventures. Bye-bye, everyone.